Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am Toastmaster Gauri, and I welcome you all to the Connect Conclave, a joint meeting of all community clubs of Division N. I would like to welcome our Division Director, Toastmaster Dipalika, and all our area directors, Toastmaster Sapna, Toastmaster Ria, Toastmaster Gunjan, and Toastmaster Sakshi. This will probably be our last joint meeting as a part of District 98. Soon, we will be a part of District 126. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Toastmaster Sakshi, the Division Director-elect of Division N for the term 2022-2023. Today's meeting, Fast Forward, is going to be an exciting experience, and what it is all about, you will all get to know soon. But now, it's time for the keynote speech. Our keynote speaker is Smita Mishra, DTM. She's a Toastmaster since 2015 and has served the district in several leadership roles such as District Training Manager, Division Director, Division PR Manager, and almost all ExCom roles. She was also the convener for the biggest marketing event in Divisions E, F, G, H, N called Master Orator Championship in 2018-19. But she calls PR her first love above all, as she's passionate about spreading the good word about Toastmasters. She's currently serving as the District 98 PR Manager. Professionally, she's a strategy consultant in Deloitte, Hyderabad, and has a work experience of nearly 9 years in global MNCs. When not busy with work or Toastmasters, she loves playing musical instruments and traveling. I know that you are all now excited to listen to her, so without any further ado, I now invite our keynote speaker, Smita Mishra ma'am. Timer, please start your screen sharing.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gauri.
Can you see the timer screen?
Yes, I can see the timer screen.
Okay. So, Smita Mishra DTM, finding the leader in you, Smita Mishra DTM.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gauri, and good evening to all Toastmasters from my second family of Nagpur. I know not a lot of you might know me very closely, but when I was the division director, when I was serving as the division director, Nagpur and Chhattisgarh were part of my term as the division director. So I often joke that it is my second home because I ended up traveling a lot to Nagpur and Chhattisgarh during that entire year. And I ended up spending more time with the Toastmasters there than I did in my own clubs in Hyderabad. So at the outset, thank you very much for inviting me back and giving me this opportunity to speak with all of you about leadership. I think that is one of the things which is closest to my heart. And I think that's something which aligns and ties together with all of us present here. So before I start about, the specifics about finding the leader in you, I'll give you a little brief about how I found a leader in myself. I've been a Toastmaster for the last 7 years, and often I thought maybe communication is not something which was a focus point for me to join Toastmasters as compared to most of the people I knew. I was fairly confident as a speaker. I was fairly verbose. I had a good grasp at vocabulary. I had participated a lot all through my schooling and college specifically for speaking contests, communication related forums. So I was fairly confident that, I'm not a fantastic speaker, but I can get my point across. So the only thing that actually gravitated me towards Toastmasters at that time was the leadership track of things. So a fun fact, I gave my icebreaker 1 year after I joined Toastmasters, because in that 1 year, I wanted to finish my competent leadership, which was back then before pathways came into picture. That was the beginning step or the starting journey to your leadership track. So that took me about 8 months to complete, which was taking up roles, mentoring people in the club, and so on and so forth. So that aspect always was a magnet for me. And I was fortunate enough that at that point of time, my area directors, my division directors, extended district teams, everybody was so warm and welcoming, even though I was a new Toastmaster and nobody knew me. What I realized was if I had something to contribute, if I had a passion to uh, contribute in any capacity, it was always taken in the right spirit and that opportunity was given. And so it was very surprising for maybe the outside world, but it was very encouraging that I took up roles like assistant area director within a year of becoming a Toastmaster, and then became a division director within 1.5 years, and the journey kind of progressed from there. So I am extremely grateful to Toastmasters for those leadership opportunities. And today I'm going to give you a little bit of insight of how that journey can also hold true for you if you too have something to contribute. Leadership, like anything else, is not something that most of us are born with. Leadership specifically is something most of us doubt ourselves on. We don't really know how we would adapt to a particular situation or a challenge until we are in the thick of it. We often find inspiration externally when we look at these amazing people, these amazing leaders, and that becomes an inspiration for us to be like them. I know that was my case when I saw my area director for the first time in the form of distinguished Toastmaster Pratima Madhireddy. Well-known face in district circles. She has been a district champion. She has been an amazing mentor and has been an amazing leader. When I first saw her, I realized this is somebody I want to be like. And I realized that, the locus of identity or the purpose of being a leader was very external at that point of time, because it was somebody else who I wanted to be like. So the first thing that I learned was, in this journey of being a leader, the first and foremost thing is to identify your passion. What is it that differentiates you from any second person around you? And that passion in leadership can be around anything and everything. It can be around being a role model. It can be around being the best executioner of ideas. It could be somebody who brings the best ideas to begin with. It could be about being the most organized VP education in your club, or the most organized chief judge at your district level. It could be about how do you motivate and inspire people on the ground by taking up volunteering activities, like when we used to do Master Orator Championship, or doing local chapters of your own new club leads and things like that. So passion is very, very important. And that's the first P, right? When you understand what you're passionate about, that helps you align with whatever in terms of opportunities that you would like to grab hold of. For me, public relations has been the biggest passion of my life. I started my journey as an associate VP PR, and that was 7 years ago. And today I'm the district PR manager. So obviously that love and that passion and that interest has always been there. And what I realized is it is important to distill that passion and that interest in whatever we do, because that's how you learn how to build a vision around things. So after you've understood what passion is leading you to a particular role or to a particular opportunity, it is the second important P to identify is your purpose. Everything that we do as leaders in this organization ties together to a purpose. What is the purpose? If you're a club leader, the purpose is very straightforward. It is the club goals that you are aspiring towards. If you're a VP education, you're building a stronger quality program for your club members so that they can get the most value out of it. If you are a VP membership, your purpose is to get new members added to your club. If you're the president of the club, your purpose is to have a vision to steer your club to greater heights and build a legacy that you and the rest of your club members would be proud to be associated with. So purpose is very, very important. Understanding that purpose helps you build a vision statement. What is going to be my vision statement? And it is not just in Toastmasters, this is something which percolates down to your profession, it percolates down to your personal life as well. Only when you understand the purpose of why you are part of this entire family, why are you so motivated to spend time and effort, that is what will lead to an inner satisfaction to quite a bit. And the third P, of course, when you have passion and you are self-motivated, you understand the purpose of why you are where you are, it leads to a collective pride. Now, this year and in the past year, I have seen this pride take shape and take deeper roots more and more in Division N. That is, of course, because, when the journey started, there were a lot of leaders who set those foundation, who set that right culture, that right expectation with our members to take pride to be part of this extended family, even if it is one division, even if it is just one small group of members. You have to understand that divisions E, F, G, H, and N cannot function without the division N. You are an integral part of this bigger family, right? So it is very important that even when you all are working together, and that is the sign of a very strong leader, to take pride in whatever it is that they're doing. If you are part of Toastmasters International District 98, soon to be 126, Division N, then you have to take pride in being part of this particular family. You have to take pride in being part of your own club. And why this pride is important, it's because once you take shape in terms of pride in your own club, in your own identity, you fight for it. You do not let your club struggle. You do not let your division, your area struggle, because you are proud of the accomplishments. You're proud of the members. You're proud of things that are happening around you, of the people around you. So when I started my journey, the locus of identity was external, because I wanted to emulate certain people. I wanted to be like some people. Slowly, that locus of identity shifted internally, because I was trying to understand my passion, purpose, and pride. But by the end of my leadership journey, that locus has already shifted again externally, because now, as a leader, it's about the people that are around me, the people that make up my team, the people that I lead, the people that I brainstorm with. So in a construct like Toastmasters International, there is no sense of autocracy, or there's no sense of I am the only voice of reason, or I'm the only person who can take charge. It's how we work together, how we work cohesively in a team, in a unit. And that is what takes not just a club, but an area, a division, and a district closer to the goals that they've set for themselves. So when you are being a leader or stepping into the shoes of leadership, I urge you to think about these three P's very, very closely. What is the passion that you have inside you that you would want to bring out or best make use of? What is the purpose that you are building or you're contributing towards? And how are you feeling that pride? Everything else, when it comes to building a vision or integrating values in the way you do things, will become part of that process. But ultimately, the framework will constitute of these three things primarily. Now, I'll take just maybe one more minute around the vision and the values that I spoke about. Now, all of us are volunteers. We give our time and we give our effort to Toastmasters outside of the usual schedules of our work and our personal life. And of course, this being a voluntary organization, there is no expectation that you would always be present here. You volunteer the best that you can, and it is understood. As a leader, it becomes an additional level of challenge, because you have to come up with two things. One, you have to ensure that there is a vision that you're building, that your entire team is gravitating towards. My mentor always told me this, and I've tried to follow this for the last 7 years. Always leave the situation in a better position than you found it in. Be it your club, be it your area, be it your division, be it your district. Always try to leave it in a better state. And when you do that, that makes you extremely responsible and accountable towards what you build as a vision and the legacy that you leave behind at the end of that duration of your term. As an area director, were you able to add new clubs? As a division director, were you able to build that community together? As a district leader, were you able to set the right role models for the next generation of leaders to follow? And that is where values play a very, very big role. We have a very strong value system and construct in Toastmasters International. It is IRSE: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. If you try to pull together these four values in every single thing that you do, whether it is giving a speech, whether it is taking up a role, whether it is becoming a club leader or an extended team leader, if you're able to tie together these values, integrity, respect, service, and excellence, that is something that will build a stronger leader inside you and within you. And in turn, it'll help you to build stronger leaders around you and outside you. Ultimately, when we are thinking of becoming better leaders or finding the leaders within us, it's not just that which is the end of the road, that I became a good leader, I was able to lead a team, and I was able to do well and leave a legacy behind. What comes next is who is going to become the next leader after you. So at the end of the road, once you have found your passion, purpose, and pride, once you have identified your vision, you have ensured that you've lived by the values and you've left a legacy behind, it is for the next set of leaders to take on those responsibilities and move forward. So as a leader, it is also your responsibility to ensure that you leave a strong team behind you and after you to take that baton forward and move ahead. Now, as individuals, we are at a cusp, because as Dipalika spoke about it, as Gauri spoke about it, we are going to become a new district soon. And as a new district, each one of us is going to play a very significant role. How do you think, I mean, you might ask yourselves, I'm just a member, how am I going to play a role here? Well, like I said, everything builds up, right? It starts with your club and it builds all the way up to the district. So the district success is based, starting point is based in the club's success. Its starting point is based in the member success. So if you choose to become volunteers, if you choose to become leaders at that starting point, that is where the change cycle will start. As we move into a new district, this is going to be a nascent stage for all of you, for all of us, but it is important to understand that at this point, this is a bigger responsibility for all of us. Once we identify the leaders within us, it's important to embrace that leader, and it is important to bring that leader outside so that we can be of service to our district as well. I hope to see many wonderful districts from Division N coming forth. You all have been such amazing trailblazers in these last many years. We always look forward to Division N to bringing in new ideas, bringing in amazing new leaders to the board. And all I can say is we hope to see that trend continuing as well. That's all I had to share in terms of my perspectives of how to find that leader in you. I'll pause now, and if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to take a couple of them.
Thank you, Toastmaster Smita Mishra, DTM. And now the floor is open for questions. And if you have any questions, please do raise your hand. So Smita ma'am can answer those questions. We will have 5 minutes for the question answer session. Ma'am, may I go ahead?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So in your speech, you spoke about people. So people
Yes.
is a huge part of leadership. So
True.
my question is, how to strike a balance between understanding your co-workers' emotions? Like, they should be able to relate to you. They should not fear you. They should be able to express their thoughts openly to you. But at the same time, how to get the work done? Because too much of free environment may also lead to not getting the work done on time. So how to strike a balance?
And that's a very, very good question, Gauri, and a very important question as well. See, ultimately, we have to understand one thing when we take up leadership roles in Toastmasters, right? the work has to be done. Whether you do it, whether you do it today, whether you do it a week later, whether you do it or somebody else steps in to do it, but the work has to be done. And that is a very clear expectation that should be understood by anybody who's taking up this responsibility. Now, having said that, it is also important to understand that there are so many realities of life which can strike at any point of time, whether it is personal, whether it is professional. It could be emergencies on the health front, it could be emergencies on the family front. And it is also equally important that we devote that time there, because that takes precedence over everything else, right? The biggest quality that a leader can exercise at that stage is empathy. I always feel that if a leader is empathetic towards their team members, if he or she is able to build that environment of trust where the other person can walk up and share and express what truly is going on in their minds and the struggles that they're facing, and at the same point understand that that truth and that reality will obviously take up the current mind space and the current thought process for whatever, whoever is the team member at that point of time, but to empathize and say, I understand what you're going through, and take the time that you need to figure those things out. And then let's maybe reconvene in a week's time, or in a couple of weeks' time, whatever time is needed. If the task at hand is urgent or important, I would at the same time figure out maybe an alternate person who could step in and get that work done in that meantime. But it is very important to just be human at that point, because the biggest challenge that we face, whether it is in Toastmasters or it's in our professional life, the reason why we fear walking up to our superiors to share our struggles is the fear of judgment. We don't like to tell our bosses at work that, okay, we need some time off because there's struggle happening at the home front, because we might be perceived as somebody who cannot handle challenges or handle situations like that. And that itself is very detrimental to the entire setup, because if I cannot, as a leader, cannot instill that trust in my team that you can walk up to me and you can share what is happening with you, so that I can build that environment where you don't feel stressed about about the work, about Toastmasters, about your professional commitments, and you have that mind space to go and think about whatever it is that you need to deal with. I think that is the beginning or the starting step to having a very close working relationship, and ensuring that the member who's leaving also feels that sense of accountability that, okay, I can come back and take on this. But at the same time, as members, as team members, we should not take that for granted at all, especially when we see empathetic leaders around us and we feel, oh, yeah, fine, so I'll just disappear and not turn up for weeks together. So that should never be the case. And that is where, as members, we should always communicate. That's very, very important. Communication both ways, right? When there is a challenge and when the challenge is done and I'm ready to come back, or if I'm not planning to come back, either ways. Communicate it so that whoever is leading you, they can come up with a backup plan, or they can figure out how to get that work done, right? So I think it's both a responsibility, and it's both. So being a leader, try to be empathetic, and as a team member, try to be open and communicate as well as you possibly can in that situation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That completely answers my question.
Perfect.
Okay, so anyone else who has a question? Yeah,
Oh, cool.
Master Dipalika.
Hi, Smita.
Hello.
So, as a leader, I understand that there will be conflicts if you are leading a team, because there are people and everybody has their opinions. It's a democratic way that we work in, and we as leaders have to respect everybody's opinion. In this setup, if there is a conflict, how do we hold on to our IRSC values when we are replying to somebody else, or when we are dealing with the entire situation? Because it is very easy that these values might get compromised in the heat of the moment. So how do we keep it calm, and how do we stick to the IRSC values that that is something which are the core values for any Toastmaster.
Thank you for that question, Dipalika. So I know okay, so this is something which I have often shared with my mentees whenever we've spoken about conflict management, or whenever we've spoken about being in a difficult situation where you feel you're cornered, or you need to come up with a response, right? Always respond, never react. Understand the distinction between these two things. A reaction is when you do not allow for whatever is the external stimulus that has happened to you, when you're not giving it the time to seep in, soak in, for you to process what exactly is it and what is the outcome that it could lead to, and you just speak out, or you just vent, or you just express whatever is within reach at that point of time. That is what reacting to a situation means. Responding is when that situation has happened, you take a step back, you try to assess what exactly has happened, what could it lead to, and how exactly should you answer it in a way that it uh, serves towards a solution. So first thing is always respond, never react. Take some time away from the situation, assess, and then come back. The second thing is, and all of these points will kind of gravitate towards how you can ensure IRSC is still ensured when you're in a situation like this, right? So in the heat of the moment, we normally sometimes get disrespectful, right? We will get into that language or the tone of communication. So your R in your IRSC goes for a toss. And that normally happens when you react and don't respond. So taking a step back is important at that point of time. The second thing I feel is trying to understand what is the end solution that everybody is working towards, right? Now, when I say end solution, if it is a goal that you're working towards, but the way to get to that goal is the conflict, you still have to keep the goal in your mind. That is the end place where everybody has to get to, right? Now, a lot of times, how we get to that situation is where your integrity goes for a toss. Somebody will say, oh, we can just take a shortcut. Somebody would say, oh, why do you have to budget for stuff? I mean, the money is right there in the club's funds. Let's just go ahead and spend it. That's okay. I mean, we'll figure it out later. Now, that is usually a potential area of conflict where you're like, you can't agree on the way to get to the goal, but ultimately that goal has to be very clear in your side. The third thing is, when we talk about two people who are at loggerheads with each other, we have to understand that you have to work towards a win-win situation. It should not be a win-loss at any point of time, nor should it be a loss-loss situation. Because despite the fact that everybody has their ego in the game and everybody has to say, oh no, but how can I take a step back? I have to be there in the forefront, and my way or the highway has to be ensured. But ultimately, remember that the entire process should not lead to a situation where somebody feels left out in that discussion or left out in that solution. The fourth and the most important thing is, when you are at loggerheads or when there is a conflict, work towards a solution, not towards whose fault was it? Why are we having this conflict to begin with? What is the cause of it? Yes, you analyze the cause, you do the root cause analysis, but then everybody should be working towards the solution, right? Now, when you try and get these four things aligned in some way or the other, you will see that because everybody is thinking of the end goal, right, where we have to go work towards a solution, you will see that there'll be a lot of tension which will get automatically diffused. And anybody who's not working towards a solution is working towards the problem instead. So it is a very psychological way of looking at it, but then people will automatically understand that we are not part of this discussion because we are not working towards a solution. So if you as a leader become someone who is resolving or trying to resolve a conflict, even if you are not part of the discussion yourself, you can play the role of a mediator. But what I would recommend is always to steer the discussion towards that. What is the end goal? Are we working towards a solution? Are we reacting versus responding? And are we ensuring that the end goals is not lost in that process. So if you're able to do that, I think the conflict resolution might help in that situation.
Thank you so much, Smita.
Yeah,
That answers.
thanks. Hargun, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you very much, Smita, for the question, for acknowledging the same. I had this small question, I'll just put it in this way. I mean, this is one of those questions which I, being in leadership for the past 2 years, have, constantly understood that this makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
How far do you think that one needs to make a point, and what is the right instant to make a point when you're in a team, when it comes to team collaboration? Maybe it is a communication technique or a persuasive technique. What is the right point to make your point stand out, and so that it makes a mark?
So this is something called the power of influencing. We don't. So what happens is, when you're trying to win consensus, and I'm assuming that is the point that you're trying to drive, right? When you are working in a team and you're trying to you're trying to move towards a solution or a way of doing things. I always feel the power of influencing is a very important and critical tool to have in your armor, right? In your kit of tools. Why? And this is there everywhere, whether it is in your Toastmaster clubs, whether it's in your professional circles, anywhere and everywhere, right? What is influencing to start with? Influencing basically means that you make it think it was the other person's idea. In very simple words, right? So when I have to, I'll give you an example. Like when I was trying to do a specific program in my professional capacity in Deloitte, I felt that there was a lot of resistance coming from a lot of different people, right? Now, my end goal was very clear. I have to get that project up and running. Now, I also understand that there are different stakeholders who are involved in that process, but I'll have to get a buy-in from each one of them. Only then all of us will be able to start moving towards that end goal, right? Now, what I instead did was I went to each of these people, discussed the problem statement at length that, okay, this is the challenge that we are facing, and this is why I feel a particular solution could work. But I also sought their inputs at that point. So I asked them, would you like to share, I would like to understand how you would deal with this. Because what happens is a lot of times people are always, oh no, this will not work. This solution will not work. This way of working will not work. At that point of time, try to turn the wheels around, but in a respectful manner, of course, because you genuinely want to understand if your way of doing things is not working, what would they have recommended instead? So I would instead go, okay, Hargun, so I understand you have, you feel that the way I'm proposing things, you feel it might not land well. What would you have done if you were in my situation? Or what would you recommend? So it is way easier to critique somebody because that hardly takes any effort or input. But when you flip it around and you tell them that you think about what you would do or you think about the solution, right? So it could lead to two things. One is they will not want to put that effort in, right? And they will be dismissive that, oh no, but I don't think I have the time or the effort. So in that case, you say, okay, so respectfully, in that case, since we are, we have less time, I think we'll try to go ahead with what I've recommended, but always open to you coming back and we can brainstorm on next steps, as iterations to our idea. That could be one. The other thing could be maybe they might come up with some good recommendations in that process as well, right? When you put that thinking cap on their head. So they might say, oh, but we could do this. And you might realize that that is a better option than what you were recommending to begin with. But that influencing power is very, very important. So at the end of the line, when they basically speak out what your input was from their own mouth, and they feel that this is my idea, as in it is their idea, that is where you win that situation. So I know we have projects in Toastmasters where you can practice that power of influencing, but even in your day-to-day situations, I would always urge to step out of your comfort zone and get into that mode of communication where I wouldn't say you put words in somebody else's mouth, but you very carefully, create that conversation so that they are also they get into that position of thinking that, okay, this could be done in this particular way. I don't know if I was very clear or coherent in my answer, Hargun,
That
but I
made
hope
sense. That made sense. I guess it's more about, how it proceeds, because influence is one thing that doesn't come within a day.
Oh,
I mean,
no. That's a skill that you have to work on for a good amount of time. But that will also happen if you put yourself in those shoes to begin with, right? I mean, in our day-to-day conversation, there's hardly any influencing that we have to do. But when you push yourself in a leadership role where you are dealing with people, where you are dealing with challenges and problem solving, that is where you can get to practice that skill, right? And isn't that all what we're doing anyway? We're practicing those skills. So yeah, maybe that'll be helpful.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
thanks a lot.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, and I think that we should not take any more questions. And if you have any questions, please put those questions on the direct message to Smita ma'am, so she could answer it. She's waiting in the meeting afterwards as well for some time. So now I would first of all like to thank ma'am for being the keynote speaker and delivering such an insightful speech. And afterwards, what the discussion we had was also very insightful. And please allow me to share my screen to present you the certificate of appreciation. So once again, thank you, ma'am, for playing the role of the keynote speaker. And this is your certificate of appreciation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gauri. And thank you once again to everyone. It's always a pleasure to come back and speak to the members of Division N. And I really hope that continues soon as well.
Okay. We'll have more and more meetings and we'll have you back as the keynote speaker. Maybe as the role play as well.
Sure, I look forward to that. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of the Sunday.
Okay. And
back to you, Gauri.
Thank you. And now I would like to hand over the stage to the Saturate Arms Toastmaster Sanjana.
I hope you all enjoyed the meeting. Up to my experience, this was one of the fantabulous meetings I ever had. If you also feel the same, please show your emojis, favorite emoticons. Yes, I think everyone liked the meeting. Thank you everyone for your valuable time and feedback. Finally, I officially adjourn the meeting. Take care all. Over to you, Toastmaster Gauri.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana. Now I would like to present a few certificates. Please allow me to share my screen once again. So these certificates are for the members, the people who have helped me conduct this meeting. First of all, coming to my core committee. So this is a certificate of appreciation to Toastmaster Monica Dixit for playing the role of PR chair, who was responsible for creating all the beautiful meeting flyers and the certificates. She's not in the meeting, but still I would like to thank her. Thank you so much. The second certificate is to Toastmaster Harshvardhan for playing the role of the resource chair. He was responsible to help me find out all the role players and keep the backup ready. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Harsh. Now coming to the guidance committee, the committee who oversaw the entire process of the project and who helped me with their suggestions to overcome any challenges. So Zoom Master, please spotlight Toastmaster Dipalika. Toastmaster Dipalika, thank you so much for being a part of the guidance committee, and here is your certificate of appreciation.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gauri.
Zoom Master, please spotlight Toastmaster Gunjan. Toastmaster Gunjan, thank you so much for being a part of the guidance committee. Here's your certificate of appreciation.
Thank you so much, Gauri.
Zoom Master, please spotlight Toastmaster Sapna. Toastmaster Sapna, thank you so much for being a part of the guidance committee, and here's your certificate of appreciation.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gauri.
And to present the next certificate, I would like to call Toastmaster Gunjan. Zoom Master, please spotlight Toastmaster Gunjan.
So last but not the least, this is a certificate for the convener, Toastmaster Gauri, who came up with this beautiful idea out of the box to do a reverse meeting. So congratulations, Toastmaster Gauri. for your
you.
wonderful efforts, and this is your certificate of appreciation for the same.
Thank you so much. To present the next set of certificates, I would like to invite Toastmaster Dipalika. Zoom Master, please spotlight Toastmaster Dipalika.
Can I share my screen?
I have shared the certificates.
Okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sanjana, for being the Sergeant at Arms and closing the meeting. Also for laying the ground rules. Thank you so much for your help. Can we spotlight Toastmaster Sanjana? Also, if Zoom Master can click quick pictures when the role players are on spotlight. Do we have Toastmaster Sanjana here? Okay, let's move further. Okay, let's move further to the next role player. Toastmaster Niyamat as the presiding officer. Thank you so much for helping us. And
thank you.
Zoom Master, can we take a quick picture as well?
Allow me a minute.
Let's move further. The next role player is Toastmaster Manish, who helped us by being the Toastmaster of the day and having an amazing theme of Past Forward. Thank you, Toastmaster Manish.
Thank you.
Our next role player is Toastmaster Om as the speaker one for today's meeting. Thank you for an amazing speech, Toastmaster Om. If you can please switch on your video, we can put you on spotlight. Thank you, Toastmaster Om.
Thank you very much.
Our next role player is Toastmaster Mohit, the speaker 2. Toastmaster Mohit, can you please turn on your video? Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. We have our next role player, Toastmaster Gauri Dixit, as the Table Topics Master. Thank you, Toastmaster Gauri, for amazing table topic session. Thank you. Our next role player is Toastmaster Hargun as the General Evaluator. Thank you, Toastmaster Hargun, for your insightful evaluations. Toastmaster, can we move to the next slide, please? Toastmaster Niyamat as the Evaluator 1. Thank you, Toastmaster Niyamat, for sharing your evaluation about Speaker 1. Let's move further. Toastmaster Faiza, thank you for sharing your evaluations for Toastmaster Mohit. Can we move further? Toastmaster Ritika as the timer for sharing the cards right on time and signaling us for all the timings that we have taken. Thank you so much, Toastmaster
Thank you,
Ritika.
Toastmaster Deepa.
Let's move further to Shivani. Toastmaster Shivani as the up counter. Thank you for noting all the pauses that every speaker has used. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shivani.
Thank you.
Our grammarian for today's meeting, Toastmaster Pragya. Thank you for helping us know the good usage and not so good usage of the English language. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pragya. And last but not the least, our Zoom Master, Toastmaster Vaibhav. Vaibhav, if you can please turn on the video. The person behind transitioning all the cards and having everyone on spotlight. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vaibhav, for helping us throughout. I thank all the role players for delivering us this amazing meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Gauri.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dipalika. Now to conduct the meeting further, I now invite the presiding officer, Toastmaster Niyamat. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gauri. So I believe there are no guests in the room. And I ask this question because what we've been doing today is something very, very extraordinary. As Toastmaster Dipalika went on giving one certificate after the other, we have to naturally just assume that all the role players have done a fantastic job. Why? Because we are doing this meeting in reverse, and therefore, as the presiding officer, now it's my responsibility to give away the certificates for the best evaluator, speaker, and so on. And for this, I request the Zoom master to help me so that we can randomly select the winners, and hoping that the role players live up to that. So let's begin with the best auxiliary role player. Yes, or the best. Okay, best auxiliary role player. Okay, and let's spin the wheel. Whom do we have here? Well, okay. I don't think this requires telling twice. Toastmaster Webhub as the auxiliary role player. Okay, we'll do this till Toastmaster Gauri can prepare the certificates. Okay, now let's have the best role player, please. Toastmaster Monish, congratulations for being the best role player. Now let's move on to the best evaluator. Toastmaster Niyama, congratulations for being the best evaluator. And now let's move on to the best speaker. Toastmaster Mohit, congratulations. So will we have the presentation of the certificates right now itself?
Yeah, the certificates are ready.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so very quickly, Zoom Master back in action. I put them on spotlight, take a quick picture, and we'll move on. Auxiliary role player presented to none other than our Zoom Master, Toastmaster Webhub. Yes. Wonderful. Is the picture taken? Yes, wonderful. All right, let's move on. The best role player, Toastmaster Monish, Toastmaster of the day. Congratulations. All right, thank you. Let's move on to the best evaluator.
Hold on for a second, please. I didn't take the pic of Manish. Please hold on.
Manish, please come back.
Thank you. We can move ahead.
Okay. Now I don't know what you're supposed to do. Just take it. Thank you. Big shoes to fill. Finally, the best speaker, Toastmaster Mohit Khurana. Can we have him on spotlight? There, yeah. Fantastic. Done?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Zoom Master, Toastmaster Webhub. And after having distributed the certificates, I now hand on the reins of the meeting to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Monish. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, presiding officer. So it's time for me to conclude the theme, today's theme. Yes, time travel is indeed a real thing, but it's not quite what you have probably seen in the movies or read in the books. Therefore, Let's wait for the right day and time when somebody actually comes to say hello from the past or forward. So with this, I would now like to hand it over to the General Evaluator to take this meeting backward and forward. Over to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Argun.
Toastmaster Hargun. Okay. Toastmaster Monish, okay, he's dropped off.
Okay, so before Toastmaster Hargun comes, as he's on the way, so I would like to say that today's theme was very interesting theme. And personally, I have seen a UFO. I have talked to the aliens as well. But I don't want to reveal anything much because it would happen like what happened in Koi Mil Gaya. You know, the Jadoo was spotted and then they made him the celebrity. And then after we know what happened. And then Hrithik Roshan came to his rescue and all. So I don't want to become the Hrithik Roshan. And I don't want to make those, my friends from other planets, the heroes. And they want to be left alone. So let's leave that alone. But yes, there are beings, species from other planets, and we can see some glimpse of them in some videos, not in movies, but there are many videos on YouTube where people, people say that, okay, they have watched the UFOs and they have the videos of them as well, but they are not very clear. So I myself would like to take this opportunity someday and would like to present a real UFO or somebody like that. So let's hope for the best.
Toastmaster Hargun is back.
Over to you, Toastmaster Hargun.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. The General Evaluator's report for today's meeting is as follows. Apologies. My system just got hanged once again. There's some issue with it. Are we good to go, Toastmaster Gauri?
Yes, please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. You are audible and visible.
Yes, Hargun, we can hear and see you.
Toastmaster Balika, I can see on the screen. My screen's got hanged. Are we good to go?
Good to go. Good to go.
Apologies. Thank you very much. The GE report for today is as follows. Grammarian. The word of the day and the phrase of the day was used in a considerable number. I reiterate that the usage of this word and the phrase must be increased, and that this shall help us in acing our speeches and developing our ability to speak instantaneously. The R counter, perfect report with precise count of R's and ums and the related. One recommendation is that you may also use screen sharing option to simultaneously share a report that people can track their usage and keep a record of the same. Timer, perfectly timed report, crisp and clear with few timing notations. A small recommendation here, which I used and seen in the last meeting, is that screen was shared alongside giving red, yellow, and green with a persistent amount of advantages as to whose advantage is what and what time to finish at. This helps people understand if they're finishing at green always, they can use the yellow time band to use and explore what their speeches are. Nevertheless, a wonderful report. Evaluators. CRC pattern was followed, and I hope the speaker took the necessary points that should ameliorate not just your speeches, but in general, how evaluations affect you, because this is just one part of life that Toastmasters takes us at. Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, amazing theme and way of conduction, a beautifully conducted round. I also encourage other members to take up the role as a table topic speaker. This helps us to understand what instantaneous speeches mean and how far we can go forward with it. Toastmaster of the day. A wonderful theme in accordance with the meeting, passed forward. I am just amazed at the way this meeting was conducted. I'm pretty much sure everybody enjoyed this, as this was a break from our normal meetings and something that we can cherish on probably one of the exciting meetings of Toastmasters, going back, but rather going forward. Presiding officer of the day, thank you very much, Toastmaster Niyamat, of taking the privilege of going past forward by taking a note of the guests and introducing them to what our theme was, because this is very much important for any guests who shall be present in the meeting and to explain them what it is to be our Toastmasters and why are we having this meeting. Next is Sergeant at Arms. Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana, for taking up this role. The enthusiasm was much needed. It's a meeting almost at the end of the year with a sad sorrow of breaking up into 3 districts, but with the joy of becoming a new one and with an even much more joy of taking up leadership roles after the session. It is about time that we do things much more enthusiastically. With this, I would now like to call upon the R counter for the report. Apologies, the grammarian for the report.
Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmaster and dear guests. As a grammarian, I really enjoyed today's meeting because as most of the people use phrase of the day and word of the day. So please put your hands together for everyone. And now I wish you will use this phrase of the day and word of the day in your daily life. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Pragya. With this, I would now like to call upon Toastmaster R counter Shivan.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Hargun. I'm back again with my report. Here is the count of R's and Ums and the filler words. So let's start with the Evaluator 2 for Feza. She had 5 R's, 2 Ums, thrice she used so, and there were 2 repeats and 1 short pauses. Our next evaluator, Evaluator 1, is Toastmaster Niyamat. She had only 4 Ums, 2 so, and there was only 1 repeat, there is. Next, we have the table topic speakers. Table topic speaker number 5 had 4 times, so 4 times, and okay 1 time. Then we have the table topic speaker number 4. He used 3 R's, 2 so's, and 3 repeat words. Then comes the table topic speaker number 2 with more than 5 R's, 3 Ums, 2 well, so was used twice, and like was used twice with the 3 repeats and 1 long pause. Table topic speaker number 1 had 4 R's, 3 Ums, well was used twice. That is all. Then we have the table topic master, Toastmaster Gauri, who has used 2 R's and for more than 5 times, 3 so's, and 4 repeat words. Next, we have the speaker number 2, Toastmaster Mohit, has 2 R's, 2 well, well was used twice, thrice he used but, and 3 repeats. Next is the speaker number 1, that is Toastmaster Om, had 3 R's, 2 Ums, twice he used okay, and you know he used thrice with the 3 repeat words and 1 long pause. Then we have the grammarian Toastmaster Pragya with 2 R's, 2 Ums, and 2 repeat words with 2 short pauses. Now let's come to the timer. Toastmaster Ritika has 4 R's, 3 so's, and 3 repeat words with 2 short pauses. Next is our General Evaluator, Toastmaster Hargun. He was flawless. Well done, General Evaluator. We have next is the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Monish. He used 2 R's, so twice, but once, and you know thrice, and 3 repeat words. Next, we have presiding officer, Toastmaster Niyamat. She used only twice well, and once, and overall she was flawless. Then lastly, we have Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Sanjana with 4 R's, 2 Ums, so twice, like twice, and 3 repeat words. Thank you. That is all from my side. Over to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Hargun.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shivani, for playing this role. With this, I would now like to call upon Toastmaster Ritika to share the timer's report.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Here is my detailed timer report. It is a saying, respect time and time will respect you. So are all the speakers followed this saying and they are qualified. Second, speakers evaluators to Toastmaster Faiza took 2 minutes 20 seconds. Her conclusion was 20 seconds, body 1 minute, and introduction 1 minute. Second speaker, Toastmaster Mohit took 6 minutes, conclusion 1 minute 30 seconds, body 3 minutes, and introduction 1 minute 30 seconds. Our first speaker, Toastmaster Om, evaluators, Toastmaster Niyamat took 2 minutes 30 seconds. Her conclusion is 1 minute, body 2 minutes, and introduction is 1 minute 30 seconds. As a second speaker, Toastmaster Om took 5 minutes 30 seconds. Conclusion is 1 minute, body 3 minutes 30 seconds, and introduction 1 minute. Now, table topic speakers, number 5 took 1 minute 17. Conclusion is 17, body 35 seconds, and introduction 25 seconds. Number 4, table topic speaker number 4 took 1 minute 32 seconds. Conclusion is 30 seconds, body 32 seconds, and introduction 30 seconds. Number 3, table topic speakers took 1 minute 50 seconds. Conclusion is 50, body is 30 seconds, and introduction is 30 seconds. Number 2, table topic speakers took 1 minute 15 seconds. Conclusion in 10 seconds, body is 35 seconds, and introduction is 30 seconds. Number 1, table topic speakers took 2 minutes 20 seconds. Conclusion 15 seconds, body 1 second, and introduction is 1 second. So this is my detailed report. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, for that detailed report. This now I call Toastmaster Faiza to take to the stage and evaluate.
Toastmaster Hargun's voice was lagging, or was it just for me?
Yeah, his network, there's some network issue at his end. But Toastmaster Faiza, please carry on with your evaluation report.
Perfectly audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, can you see the...
I'm sorry, I think there's something wrong with my internet connection.
We can hear you fine. Toastmaster Ritika, you could share screen.
Yeah.
Can I start?
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Mohit on giving such a wonderful speech. I will be giving my evaluation on the sandwich method. That includes with a recommendation, which is followed by a conclusion. The first commendation that I would like to give him is about the audience interaction that he did. I personally liked that when he started speaking, he started with asking a question about how many of you had hard times in your relationships, whether it be with your parents, your mother, father, sister, siblings, anyone, and with anyone. So I really liked, because that one question really engaged him with the audience, so that the audience felt very interactive and were, in other words, if I say, they were forced to listen to him, even if they didn't wanted to. His one question made him very interactive with the audience. So that one thing that I really appreciate. A recommendation that I would like to give him will be on hand gestures. They were pretty much hand gestures that he used throughout his speech, but it would be better if the number of hand gestures would be a little bit much. There were certain words that he used in his meeting, like sprinkles. So it would be better that if he did this action, so that it's better for the audience to listen and see as well. Another commendation that I would like to give Toastmaster Mohit is that he had a very well written and a very well executed content. After hearing to the theme and his title of the speech, it was very much pleasing to see that he did a very good written work and very much justice to the content that he has written. Very well written and very well executed, so that it is very good for the audience to listen and engage themselves. To conclude, I would like to say that he was good with audience interaction. He was good with the content writing and execution. Only suggestion that I would give him is to use more hand gestures and increase them in number. That's all from my side. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Faiza, for the evaluation. With this, I would now like to call upon Toastmaster Niyamit to evaluate speaker number 1, Toastmaster Om. Toastmaster Niyamit, can you see the timing cards?
I can.
Are we good to go?
Good to go.
Yes.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters, and a special good evening to my target speaker, Toastmaster Om. Firstly, let me congratulate you on delivering a fantastic speech on something that we are all aware of, but at the same time could do with a good reminder of. Let's begin with the CRC approach, wherein I talk about all the things that I appreciated in your speech, followed by a couple of recommendations that I have to take your speech to the next level, and then closing with the commendations and a good conclusion. So let's begin. Your title, Happiness is Made at Home. I absolutely loved it because it was simple, at the same time direct, and gave us all a clear idea of what you were going to talk about. Understanding that this is your second speech, you were required to have a flow in the speech. That is, it should have an introduction, a body, followed by a conclusion. So my first plus in your speech is that your speech was very well crafted. It had a very good opening, and I love the fact that you used a personal example to start in your story. Every speech is better accepted when you put yourself in that speech. And hence I appreciated that you took a lot of your personal examples talking about how happiness is made at home, and home is where the heart is. And therefore, everything that you do with your heart, everything that you do with absolute meaning will naturally bring you happiness. So I love that the general purpose was that everyone in life should seek out happiness, and that happiness can be found at home. Moving on, the other things that I appreciated in your speech were that there was a comfort level. When you spoke, everything that you delivered, you're very confident, calm, and composed while delivering it. So that's a second plus, and that's also a mark of a good speaker. A few recommendations from my end. I would like you to play with your gestures a little bit. Elaborate with using your hands, using your expressions. Also, the intonation. The rise and fall of your pitch of your voice will help us to understand and focus on a few points which are very, very important. Lastly, let me conclude that although your speech could have been your speech had all the right elements of having the introduction, body, conclusion. It had a wonderful message to deliver. It had a general as well as a specific purpose, which you enhanced by giving your personal examples. If you just work on these two recommendations, I'm confident that you will be a much better speaker in your forthcoming speeches. Thank you so much, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Niyamit, for the evaluation. Well, this was the end of the evaluation section in reverse. Moving fast forward, over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Time travel has long occupied a significant place in fiction. Since early days of Mahabharata, which was some 10,000 years ago, humans have dreamt of wrapping time. Some make a note that the research and physics, like in the film Interstellar, a 2014 film which was directed by Christopher Nolan, where a character played by Matthew McConaughey spends a few hours on a planet orbiting a supermassive black hole. But because of time dilation, observers on Earth experience those hours as a matter of decades. Long-standing franchises like Star Trek, movies, television series, as well as comic universe like DC and Marvel Comics revisit the idea of time travel over and over. Chariots of the Gods, a documentary and a book which talks about extraterrestrial beings influenced ancient technology. Von Däniken, the writer of the book, says that the ancient structures and artifacts appear to reflect more sophisticated technological knowledge at the times they were manufactured, like the Great Pyramids. Von Däniken maintains that these artifacts were produced either by extraterrestrial visitors or by humans who learned the necessary knowledge from the extraterrestrial beings themselves. Interesting. So with this, I would like to hand it over to the table topics master for today, Toastmaster Gauri, to take the meeting backward. Over to you, table topics master, Toastmaster Gauri.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Monish. So as we are taking the meeting fast forward, I would like to ask for 3 volunteers for the table topics. Anyone who's interested, please raise your hand. Okay, Grammarian Toastmaster Pragya. We need 2 more volunteers. We have, guest Chandrasekhar and 1 more. Toastmaster Monica. Okay. We have guest Srinath. Are you interested? Okay.
Sorry,
okay, no
I
problem.
didn't. Yeah.
Okay. We have 3 speakers with us, table topic speaker, Toastmaster Pragya, guest Chandrasekhar, and Toastmaster Mohit. So Zoom Master, are we ready with the spin the wheel?
Give me a second.
Meanwhile, I'll hand over the stage to the presiding officer to announce the winner, Toastmaster Niyamat.
Yes. So I suddenly feel like the Oracle, if anyone has seen the Matrix, or basically the one who prophesizes. So imagine the responsibility I have to be able to just imagine and figure out who the winner would be without even listening to these people. And I'm sure they're all winners and fantastic speakers in their own right. But for the sake of this meeting, we have the Zoom master who's going to spin the wheel, and we're going to select the best table topic speaker between Toastmaster Pragya, Chandrasekhar, and Toastmaster Mohit. Zoom master, whenever you're ready. Ready? Toastmaster Pragya, congratulations. So I will also now hand over the certificate of the best table topic speaker to Toastmaster Pragya. You have a big responsibility on your shoulders.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And now I hand the meeting reins back to Toastmaster Gauri to table topic master. Thank you.
Okay. So Toastmaster Mohit was the last person to raise his hand. So we'll begin with Toastmaster Mohit. But before we go ahead, I would like to explain that as it is a reverse meeting, you people are free to speak on any topic of your choice for minimum of 1 minute and maximum of 2 minutes, 30 seconds. So the green card will be shown at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute, 30 seconds, and red card at 2 minutes. And after you have spoken, my job is to guess what the topic was. So Toastmaster Mohit, whenever you are ready. Timer, please share your screen.
Yeah, give me 10 seconds to organize my thoughts.
I request the timer to please share her screen.
Thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak in front of a fantastic Toastmaster family. So, I have chosen a word. I will explain later on what I have chosen. So, the it has more than one meaning. One is the meaning comes from the material world. One is coming from the scientific meaning. So if we talk about this word space where we live, a space is in terms of satellites, in terms of solar system, Milky Way, and a space where we spend our time. And if we talk about this, then more into the spiritual content, the space is a coach of our body, where our thought process generates some ideas. We observe some different kind of mentality because of we are living in different environment. We are living in different space. So in order to give maximum insights from our inner mind, we are boundary ourselves. This is also a space. So I'm just in this particular speech and this particular words, I was trying to explain the space, different meaning of space, how we learn, how we understand the the particular word. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mohit. And after your speech, I think the topic would have been the different meaning of the same thing. Like a person, depending on the perspective, a same thing can mean different to different people. So that may be the topic.
It depends on our eyes, how what we see.
Right. Moving on to the next speaker, Chandrasekhar. I request you to please turn on your video. Okay. So are you? Yeah, you are visible and audible. Are you all set? Do you have any doubts?
No, I do not have any doubts.
Okay. Whenever you are ready.
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master. What makes the grass greener on the other side? Water, of course. If you water it properly, your side and the other side both will be greener. Throughout my life, I was having this just one question in my mind, like why that person is having good things and why am I not having that good things? I always used to compare myself with others. And because of that, I always used to feel guilty about myself, not because they were doing great or not because I was not doing great, but I always used to compare the things that others are having and that I am not having. I always used to say that it is easy for them, they are having this, they are having that, it's really easy for them. The grass is always greener on the other side. Until I saw this one amazing speech given by Matthew McConaughey. Most of you know him. He was the same actor from Interstellar, and he won the Best Actor award in the year 2013, I believe, for the movie Dallas Buyers Club. So in his award acceptance speech, he said that he look up to three things: someone to look up to, someone to look forward to, and someone to chase. Now, someone to look up to. God is someone to look up to. Someone to look forward to was his family because they have supported him, and because of them, he was on that stage. Now, the last one, someone to chase for. Now, that is his hero. So when he was 15 years old, someone comes and asks him, like, tell me, who is your hero? He said, I don't know. Give me a week to think about it. The same person comes back after 1 week and asks him, now tell me, who is your hero? So he said, you know what? It is me at 25. 10 years later, the same person comes and asks him, are you your hero? He said, no, 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 not even close. It is me at 35. So you see, every day, every night, I'm just chasing my hero. I'm never going to beat him. I'm never going to accept that. But that is fine because it gives me somebody to keep on chasing. So what is the message that he wants to convey? That if you want to truly compare yourself with someone, that person has to be absolutely and absolutely you. Because if you are comparing yourself with someone else, that is mean that you are degrading yourself. So now I have started to water my own grass so that it can make the grass greener on my side. Back to the table topic master.
Thank you so much, guest Chandrasekhar, for such an amazing speech. And from your speech, I believe that the title would be that your best competition is you yourself. And now coming to the last speaker, Toastmaster Pragya.
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready.
I'm audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Okay. As I belong to the state where one quote is very famous, it is Chhattisgarhya Sable Badhiya. And here in Chhattisgarh, one chapati called Angakar is very famous. I love to. And you know, my maternal grandmother always used to cook it for me, and I loved it. And you know what? She is not properly distinguished between my face and that Angakar roti. And you know how he called me, used to call me, oh Angakar, come here. And that's why she used to call me every time Angakar, Angakar. And this is how, this is our really short and sweet fight uh, with my maternal grandmother. And then I took admission to my engineering college, and it is far from my loved ones. Then I enjoyed spending time with my friends and peers. And at that time also my maternal grandmother called me and always told me, please come here and stay with me. But as I was busy with my study and friends, I always ignored her feeling. I I started ignore her feelings. So at last I want to share, before 20 days ago, I realized in my mind, when I lost my grandmother, when she was with me, I was busy with my professional life, like study and friends. Now I want to share one thing. If someone with you, you need to give your time with there, because family will support you, they will help you to grow. But to grow, we probably forgot them and probably ignored her feeling. So uh, don't so involve in your personal life. Please balance in between your personal life and professional life. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster, table topic master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pragya. And from your speech, I believe that the title could be Resolve rather than Regret. This was what came to my mind. Now, after having listened to all the speakers, I would like to explain what Table Topics is all about. As you all saw, Table Topics is all about impromptu speaking, which helps us develop 4 skills. The first one, thinking. So all the speakers were meant to think on a topic, and then based on the topic, they had to collect some points around a topic. Second was organizing. So they had to organize all those points in a speech which had a beginning, body, and conclusion. And last was delivery. So all 3 of them had to deliver their speeches in the time limit of 1 minute to 2 minutes 30 seconds. And the last one was listening, which was for me, which was applicable to me, because after listening to all the speakers, it was my job to at least go near to what the title could have been. I think I was able to guess all the titles right. And after this, after conducting the session, I would like to hand over to the table TMOD, Toastmaster Monish.
Thank you, Table Topics Master, Toastmaster Gauri. So now it's time to call for the feedback for the speaker number 2. So Zoom Master, can we have the link for the feedback, to give the feedback to speaker number 2, please? Zoom Master. Please confirm. Yes, so we have the link to give feedback to speaker number 2. So we have exactly 1 minute to do so. Timer, just let me know after we reach 1 minute, please. Okay, so we are good to go. So it's time for me to call the second speaker for today, Toastmaster Mohit, to deliver his speech. Toastmaster Mohit. So can you unmute yourself, Toastmaster Mohit?
Yeah, sorry. I'm audible?
Yes, you're audible and visible. So can you see the timer cards? Zoom Master?
Not now.
Just a minute.
Please share your.
Toastmaster Gauri, first, I think Mohnish, evaluator will come and tell objective.
No, Toastmaster Ritika, as it's a reverse meeting, first the speaker will speak.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me.
Okay, just a minute, Toastmaster Mohit. So are you able to see the timer cards?
Yeah, visible to me.
Okay, okay. So Toastmaster Mohit, the significance of food. The significance of food, Toastmaster Mohit, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak in front of the fantastic Toastmaster family. The topic I have chosen is significance of food. The function of food is the body is similar to the fuel in any vehicle. We all humans have different mindset, capabilities, willpower, and determinations, and sacraments. Why there is a considerable change in individuals, and why we don't look the same but seems similar. The only reason is our food. If we eat the same food, our internal system of the body reacts differently. Why? Why it happens? Somebody can digest 1 kg of milk, but some people cannot eat milk products. This is one of the examples. We heard we can only achieve the expected output by working on the inputs. The fundamental equations of any process is converting input into the output. It has been written in the scriptures, जैसा खाएंगे अन्न, वैसा होगा तन. तन अच्छा होगा तो अच्छा होगा मन, and मन अच्छा तो सब चला. Food is the main source of our growth. More sattvic we feel, more better consciousness we build. As we know, there are more than 40 different kinds of nutrients in food. They can generally be classified into 4 major groups. Some of the major groups are carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, fats, and minerals. These are the input of our physical body to make us healthy and fit. To go beyond one stage, our mental body comes in picture. We need to know the input gradients of our mental body. First, we understand their doors, from where the mental food had entered. Can anybody guess? Am I audible? Can anybody guess? Our 5 sense organs. Our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and our skin is the main source, is the main door where mental food can enter. We should only listen the positive things or the thing that is helpful to us. We should eat those things that gives energy to our body or clean our internal system. We should only see the optimistic side of any situation, focus on the strength, and deal with the failures. We should be in touch with the people who spread positivity and learning mindset so that we can also grow. To go one stage beyond in this journey, we need to focus on our goal, our objective, and be consistent towards our primary concern. It could be wealth, health, family, society, and God. A secret I can tell you, we all had some capability, the same capability. Our daily lifestyle, habits make us worse or bright. Our mind is the amazing slave, but very bad master. So try to listen your internal sound, not the brain. Because brain vibrations that mostly affected by the surroundings. To get anything from ourselves, focus on our intake, the sattvic food. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for such a wonderful speech, Toastmaster Mohit. Now it's time for me to call Evaluator number 2, Toastmaster Faisa, to deliver evaluation norms for the speaker number 2, Toastmaster Mohit. So, Toastmaster Faisa, over to you.
Thank you, TMOD, Toastmaster Monish. Toastmaster Mohit will be speaking, will be giving his level 1 project 2 second speech, and the purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he has applied the feedback received from his first speech. Timer, please note down that the speech will be within the timing of 5 to 7 minutes. I wish you all the best for your speech, and please deliver a Pelzy-Welzy speech so that the audience could interact to a very next level. Thank you, and all the best, Toastmaster Mohit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Faisa, for delivering speech norms for the speaker number 2, Toastmaster Mohit. Now it's time to ask for the feedback for speaker number 1. So, Toastmaster Rome. So, Zoom Master, can we have the link for the feedback for the speaker number 1, Toastmaster Rome, please? Yes, we have the link, and we all have 1 minute to do so. Okay, so now it's time to call upon the speaker number 1, Toastmaster Rome, to deliver his speech. Speaker number 1, Toastmaster Rome. Toastmaster Rome, are you able to see the timer cards? Please unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes, I'm able to see.
Okay. Toastmaster Om, happiness is made at house. Happiness is made at house. Toastmaster Om, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and guests. So, as this is my second speech, I wanted this to be a very special one, and and I was thinking about the topic, but I was not able to get the topic. So I talked about this to my mentor, and he suggested me to give a speech on a person or someone who I admire and who admires me to become a person I want, who admires me to become a person that I am today. Become a person that I am today. I started to think about many people. I thought about many people, and I started to write the speech about them. And but after some time, I realized that I'm not able to write not even a single paragraph about them, and it was a very disaster. So I was I was utilizing a lot of time on it, and after some time, my mother, I was thinking about it, and my mother suddenly came shouting on me, that I was shouting on me like, "Oh, why are you wasting so much time on your laptop? Start studying, that your exams are going to come." And suddenly, I was really frustrated that I was not getting the topic, and my anger of not getting the topic suddenly shifted from the speech to my mother. And I started to think, why is my mother so much stubborn and so much annoying when it comes to my study, when the thing comes to my studies? I got angry, and I just closed my laptop and I went outside to have some fresh air. I started to think suddenly, I was doing such interesting task, and why does my mother always disturbs me when I'm doing something? And suddenly I went to a flashback of memories, that how my mother used to beat me for not doing some work properly, or getting less marks in my exams, or not screwing some task. And I was just thinking about it, and then suddenly the answer came from the answer came that, dude, she cares for you. She she scolds you, she beats you because she doesn't want you to repeat the same mistake. She scolds you because she doesn't want you to get less marks in your exams, and screw up some tasks. Like, and similarly, and suddenly the flashback of many memories came to my mind, and I'll save one of my memory with you all. So when I was in my fourth standard, I went to buy a toy with my grandmother to a nearby shop. That shop was on a very busy road, and as soon as my grandmother bought me the toy, I was very excited to have it, and I suddenly started to run towards the road. So as soon as as soon as I was running, I was hit by a motorcycle, and I was badly injured because of it. So before my grandmother could realize what had happened, the person on the motorcycle had gone, and my grandmother picked me up, and she thought I was okay, so she brought me home. My mother got to know about the accident, and when she came to me, and she realized that I was not acting normally, I was acting weird. So she got panicked, and she called my father, and asked him to come to visit the hospital, and they took me to the hospital. When the doctors examined me, and they took some X-rays, and they observed that I had some internal injuries in my head. They informed my parents about this, and they informed my parents about this, and my mother was really scared, and she got worried about this. My father was completing the procedures, and my mother went to a nearby temple, and she brought the photo of our DT, and she placed it on my chest, and she literally she prayed to the God, saying that I am leaving my fate of my son towards to you, and please heal him and make him normal as he was earlier. And with this, she handed me over to the doctor, and the doctors did the operation. The doctors told that the operation was very complicated, and there were very less chances of me surviving. But miraculously, I survived the accident. I survived the accident, and I was going to be normal again. So when I heard about the story, doctor said that it was a miracle. I realized that it wasn't a miracle. It was the power of my mother's love towards me that has healed me, and uh, that has healed me. And today I am very well recovered from it. So this thing, the power of mother's love, it is a very much powerful thing, and I believe every mother in the world has the love for the child, and that is very much powerful. And there are many such incidents that I got to remember because of the speech. And if I continue to speak about this, the whole session would not be sufficient to complete my stories. So many times we forget how much our parents have sacrificed and lost just to give us the life we are living today, and that we do not regret it, and that they do not regret, and that they do not regret till today, and they are ready to do it again to get us a better future. So many times they shout at us, they scold us, they beat us. So they beat us for the better good of us. We don't realize this, we just see their anger, but we cannot see the reason behind the anger. So my message to all of you is, if you live with your parents, try to spend some time with them. And if you don't, just give them a call in a while, because they are the only people in your life who love you without expecting anything from you. And you will realize that happiness is made at home with your only loved ones. So thank you, Toastmaster, and over to you.
That was a great speech, Toastmaster Om. Now with this, I now would like to call upon the first evaluator for today, Toastmaster Priyanka, to deliver speech norm for the speaker number 1, Toastmaster Om.
So the first evaluator is me.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yes, so the first evaluator for today is Toastmaster Niyamat. So Toastmaster Niyamat, are you able to see the timer cards?
Not yet.
Master?
No need for the timer cards now, as it's just reading out the speech objectives.
Yes. So, right. So Toastmaster Om will be delivering his innovative planning path, level 2, second speech, to have a speech with a purpose. And the basic idea of a speech is to have an organized speech with an introduction, body, conclusion, and also have a general purpose followed by a specific purpose. The time limit of the speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Niyamat, for the speech norms for the speaker number 1, Toastmaster Om. All right, so let's move ahead. More than 100 years ago, a famous scientist named Albert Einstein came up with an idea about how time works. He called it relativity. The theory says that time and space are linked together. Einstein also said our universe has a speed limit. Nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. What does this mean for time travel? Well, according to this theory, the faster you travel, the slower you experience time. Scientists have done some experiments to show that this is true. For instance, there was an experiment that used 2 clocks set to the exact same time. One clock stayed on Earth, while the other flew in an airplane which was going in the same direction as the Earth rotates. After the airplane flew around the world, scientists compared these 2 clocks. The clock on the fast-moving airplane was slightly behind the clock on the ground. So the clock on the airplane was traveling slightly slower in time than 1 second per second. This means that time travel is really possible. So let's move ahead, and now I would like to hand over to the meeting to our general evaluator, Toastmaster Hargun, to take this meeting fast forward. Over to you, general evaluator, Toastmaster Hargun.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Manish. We are moving fast forward much more. And I guess it's like a time travel with time moving forward and we moving back. With this, evaluation is one of those parts of Toastmasters that helps us not just become better speakers, but better leaders. It is said where leaders are made for a reason. I am a general evaluator, Toastmaster Hargun Singh, And I have my team called as Stack Team, T for timer, A for our counter, and G for wordmaster grammarian, who are here to help you become better speakers, better individuals, better Toastmaster, and better leaders to inspire and aspire many. Without much ado, I will be presenting my long detailed summary of the entire meeting at the end. Or did I say, have I already presented it? We're moving fast forward, right? So let's take this fast forward in the reverse way of introducing my tag team today. First of all, Toastmaster Pragya, who's playing the Wordmaster Grammarian role today. Toastmaster Pragya, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to say sorry for my video. Because of rain, there is no electricity. Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and dear guests. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to their language uses. I will take note of any misuse of the English language as well the outstanding uses. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day and phrase of the day. So for today's meeting, the word of the day is palsy-walsy, which means too friendly. For example, all Toastmasters are palsy-walsy person. And for today's phrase of the day is come rain and shine, which means no matter what. For example, come rain and shine, he is always on the job. So each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day and phrase of the day in your speech. In case you use the word of the day, we will appreciate with the thumb up emotion, and on uses of the phrase of the day, we will show your clap emotion. I will post the word of the day and phrase of the day in chat window. I will present my report when called upon during the meeting. And over to you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Hargun.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Pragya, for that word of the day and idiom of the day. Come rain or shine, Wordmaster grammarians are there to correct your English time and again. It's for them that we improve our English. The next tag team player, our counter, Toastmaster Shivani, is here to explain her role. Toastmaster Shivani, I'll not be saying much. It's a role being taken care of. Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Hargun. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Good speech is like a back-to-back volley of beautiful firecrackers that lights up ideas and grabs people's attention. Filler words are the occasional dudes that spoil the momentum of an otherwise good show. As the our counter today, it is my duty to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for the filler sounds, including and I will also note when the speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means. They are often uttered while gathering your next thought. The problem with them is they undermine your message. They steal your thunder. They cause you to appear and sound less confident. So I will help you in eliminating this dude so that your words truly create a blast. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shivani, for the detailed introduction to your role this evening. With this, we have the third member, the timer, being played by Toastmaster Ritika. Being on time every time is one of the traits that a leader should be proud of and should consistently and coherently have things done in place. With this, we have Toastmaster Ritika. Toastmaster Ritika, the stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. We learned from Toastmasters, one must work with time and not against it. So my role as a timer is to keep time for all the speakers to ensure that everyone speaks with their allotted time slot. This will also help in ensuring that the meeting runs on time. To help me to do this, I have 3 cue cards with me. I will show the green card when the speaker hits qualifying time. I will show the yellow card when the speaker hits the target time. I will show the red card when the speaker has reached the end of their allotted time. For example, 5 to 7 minutes speech, I shall raise the green card at the 5 minutes, yellow card on the 6 minutes, and red card on the 7 minutes. For table topics, I will show green card at 1 minute, a yellow card 1 minute 5 seconds, and red card 2 minutes. Prepared speeches evaluation up to 3 minutes, 2 minutes green card, 2 minutes 50 seconds yellow card, and 3 minutes red card. The speaker will also be granted a grace period of 30 seconds on either side of the speech. I will present my detailed report when called upon by the General Evaluator. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ritika, for explaining the role. Somebody once asked me, what is evaluation and why is it necessary? To them, I gave a simple thing that makes a lot of sense this evening. Imagine you're expressing the love, you're proposing to your love of your life, and you say, I love me so much. Wrong sentence formation. So many ahs and ums. And probably if this is the case, you have not even proposed her well. Maybe either you've spoken for around 10 minutes or you've spoken a single sentence. It's about ameliorating yourself in each and everything you do. That's my tag team, ladies and gentlemen. With this, over to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Hargun. So it's time for me to introduce my theme. So, is time travel possible? Although humans can't hop into a time machine and go back in time, we do know that clocks on airplanes and satellites travel at different speed than those on Earth. We all travel in time. We travel 1 year in time between birthdays. And we are all traveling in time at approximately the same speed, 1 second per second. NASA space telescopes also give us a way to look into back in time. Telescopes help us to see stars and galaxies that are very far away. It takes a long time for the light from faraway galaxies to reach us. So when we look into the sky with a telescope, we are seeing what those stars and galaxies looked like very long ago. However, when we think of the phrase time travel, we are usually thinking of traveling faster than 1 second per second. That kind of time travel sounds like something you would have only seen in movies and science fictional books. Could it be real? Science says yes. Time travel is the concept of movement between certain points in time. The moments between different points in space by an object or a person, typically with the use of a hypothetical device known as a time machine. Time travel is widely recognized concept in philosophy and fiction, particularly science fiction. The idea of a time machine was popularized by H.G. Wells in 1895 in his novel, The Time Machine. So how do we know that time travel is possible? Let's find it out. Now I would like to give the reins to the presiding officer for today, Toastmaster Niyamat, for her presiding officer's address. So over to you, Toastmaster Niyamat.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monish. And what a fantastic theme we've chosen. We couldn't have thought of something better, considering we are going past, back, or bringing the meeting towards the end. Let me quickly talk about what Toastmasters is. We're all Toastmasters in the room, barring a few guests. I think Mr. Srinath. Can we have you on camera, please?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute.
So in the interest of time, I am not going to talk a lot about what Toastmasters is, but just give Mr. Srinath an opportunity to introduce himself and also give us a little feedback of what he thought the meeting was like. Over to you.
Yeah, good evening, every Toastmaster present here. Actually, I'm a new member of Toastmaster. Like, I am a member of IMT Nagpur Toastmaster Club. And it was a great honor to be part of this club. And the meeting was very nice because I was able to learn a lot of things from each one of you. Basically, how you all conduct the meeting. So basically, it was a reverse meeting. So it was really a good thing. I mean, even it was confusing at one point of time, but I was able to understand what you all were able to, what you were doing it. And apart from that, I will definitely want to also participate in one of the table topics in future meetings, because today I was not prepared. I mean, because I haven't done yet. So definitely I'll take part and I'll contribute towards it. And apart from that, everything was really nice. I look forward to learning more things in every meeting or yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And welcome to the Toastmasters family. And assure you that this is just one of its rare meetings that we have like this. Otherwise,
Yes,
it won't be so confusing.
Oh.
So very quickly, as it's my role, what is Toastmasters? Toastmasters, we're all over here maybe since 2014, 17, 19, or perhaps joined just a few months back. Toastmasters International is a non-profit international organization which is spread across 142 plus countries. We have over 16,000 clubs and more than 350,000 members, which in itself tells us that how widespread and how effective it must be as an organization. Second, what does it do? As Toastmasters, we work on two fronts. One is on enhancing our leadership qualities, as DTM Smita so wonderfully put across. And the other thing is on English speaking and communication skills as such, which means how well or how effectively can you get your point across. So I hope each one of us here is probably learning a thing or two in every meeting that we attend, and even outside of Toastmasters. So that's it from my end. Thank you so much for joining here. And I think we should give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Gauri for putting this together. And now I hand the meeting reins back to the Sergeant at Arms.
I'm taking the role of the SAF because
Okay.
because of some problem, she was dropped out.
All right, back to you, Toastmaster Gauri. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As the Sergeant at Arms, I would like to welcome you all to the joint meeting of all community clubs of Division N. Before we begin, I would like to state the mission of a district of Toastmasters. We build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Before we begin, please follow the following rules. Please put your cell phones on silent mode. I give you 10 seconds to do so. Thank you. Please kindly refrain from talking about sex, religion, and politics. Kindly refrain from moments that distract the speaker. In case you need to move, please turn off the video before doing so. All attendees must mute their audios at all times unless instructed otherwise. Do not share your screen unless asked by the host. If you do so, you'll be removed from the meeting. And now finally, I request you all to please turn on your camera so we can capture a picture. Requesting everyone to please turn on your camera. Toastmaster Dipalika and Zoom Master. Zoom Master, are you taking the photo? Toastmaster Dipalika, please turn on your camera.
Waiting for Dipalika to switch on her camera.
There's a power cut. Okay, no problem. We can go ahead.
3, 2, and 1. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Toastmaster.
Bye.